Good afternoon. Hello to all of our Wellstar team members. My name is Terrell Williams, and I am the manager for Wellstar Medical Group Float Pool. I also chair the WMG Inclusion Council along with my colleague, Chris Holmes-Macon, who's the Assistant DPO for Rheumatology. I'm happy to have you all on the call today to take part in today's Lunch and Learn. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Dr. Daniel Black, a luminary in the field of African American studies. Dr. Black's journey is steeped in academia and literature, holding a PhD in African American studies from Clark College, a parent institution to Clark Atlanta University. As a prolific researcher, novelist, Black historian, and educator, Dr. Black has left an indelible mark on the landscape of Black literature and culture discourse. Dr. Black has authored several publications, including The Coming, Perfect Peace, They Tell Me of a Home, The Sacred Place, Don't Cry for Me, 12 Gates to the City, and Listen to the Lambs, all uniquely shedding light on the multifaceted nature of the Black experiences. In addition to his literary achievements, Dr. Black is a dedicated educator known for his insightful lectures and mentorship of students. He has been recognized for his contributions to academia, receiving several prestigious accolades and notable recognition for his scholarship to African American history and culture. More recently, Dr. Black's Clark Atlanta commencement speech has gone viral, making Dr. Black very busy. I want to remind you that today's presentation is going to be interactive, so I encourage you to engage with Dr. Black by adding your questions in the chat and using the QA feature during today's presentation. So, it is my honor to introduce Dr. Black as today's Lunch and Learn guest speaker. Please join me in giving him a warm Wellstar welcome. Dr. Black, I hand it over to you.
Thank you tremendously. Good afternoon, great healers. Hello, Wellstar folks. What an honor, an absolute honor to be here today. And yes, we're talking about Juneteenth, what Juneteenth means, why Juneteenth is important. And I'm really, really excited about this topic. I have to tell you that. And I'm really excited about any topic that talks about the beauty and the power of freedom and what someone paid for freedom. And that's really what we're talking about here, something all Americans can identify with and can attest to, the cost and the power and the worth of freedom. But we're talking specifically about it from the perspective of Juneteenth today. And anytime you have a Juneteenth celebration, folks, there's one thing that must happen. It must be done. And that is the singing of the Black National Anthem. If you know it, sing along with me. If you don't, read the words and notice the power, the transformative power of these lyrics. Here we go. Voice and sing till earth and heaven ring the harmony of liberty. Rejoicing, high as the listening sky. How it goes. Just jump on in. And full of the hope that the present has brought us. The rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on to victory. One. So the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Right along with it. Don't worry about your tone. For with our parents' side, have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come, treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. From the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. A weary year of silent tears, thou hast brought us thus far on the way. Thou hast by thy might let us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray. As our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. As our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. But all beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Awesome, 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 y'all. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you all for joining me in that. Absolutely powerful, right? And what a marvelous thing for Wellstar to sing that song together. That is called the Black National Anthem, or what some people call the African American National Anthem. Some of you may say, oh my God, I didn't know that there was a particular one for African Americans. Well, there is, and now you know what it is. So we're talking Juneteenth today, right? Thank you all for being here. I'm so appreciative to all of you for being here. And here's how I want to start this presentation. We all know there was a very ugly chapter in American history known as American slavery. That is no secret to any of us. And we're not going to lie about it today. Is that all right, y'all? We're not going to lie about it. We're going to call it what it was, right? It was an ugly, horrific, horrible, horrible chapter in American history, but it did end. Now, here's how Juneteenth starts. On the night of December 31st, 1862, enslaved people gathered all over this land. All over this land, enslaved people gathered. And some who were not slaves, some free Black Americans gathered to see if, in fact, freedom would come the next day. Rumor had it that Abraham Lincoln was going to sign a document called the Emancipation Proclamation. If, in fact, Lincoln would sign the Emancipation Proclamation, these Black citizens of America heard that that would make them free. So they got together on the night of December 31st, 1862, all over this country, and prayed and cried, oh my God, and sang songs and talked to God and tried to send energy and electricity through the air to make Lincoln sign a document called the Emancipation Proclamation. Some of you may know, some of you may not. That night is called Watch Night. You can go to Black churches all over America right now, on December 31st, and we still have what's called Watch Night. Most white churches don't have it, and now you know why. Because it was Black people who gathered to see if, in fact, freedom would come in the morning. Y'all have to give me, this thing winds me up. It winds me up. So we got together December 31st, 1862, and again prayed and prayed and prayed, and it was true. January 1st, 1863, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which officially, we know there's problems with it, y'all got that part, but which officially put an end to a thing called American slavery, which had existed for hundreds of years. But Black folks started celebrating. Black people started partying. So the first day of the year, New Year's Day, represents something different for Black people in this country than simply it's another year. Oh, no, no, no. It was a new era, if you will, right? January 1st meant actually that an entirely new time dimension was about to begin. But it did not free everybody. That document did not free everyone everywhere. Really, it freed those who were not in Confederate territory, right? That's very important to know. It's very important to understand. It did not free all enslaved people. And there were some folks as far west as a place called Texas who not only were not freed, they didn't even hear about it. And in some instances, there were people who did hear about it, but it did not free them. So this is very important to understand. The Emancipation Proclamation did not free most enslaved people. It was a legal ploy. It was a legal ploy, right? Really to keep the Union together. Nonetheless, it started the process of freedom. And this is very important. And this is for all Americans. This is not just for Black Americans. This is for all people who love freedom. This is for all people who love justice and who love honor. Well, here's what happened. And here's how Juneteenth began. This is very important. That night, December 31st, Black people called what I've been calling Watch Night. Black folks called Freedom's Eve, right? Remember that, Freedom's Eve. It was the first Watch Night service in America. On that night, enslaved and free Black folks gathered in churches and homes all across the country, waiting to see if, in fact, freedom was going to come. We know that. We know that it was signed by Abraham Lincoln in 1863. As a result, in the westernmost Confederate state of Texas, enslaved people would not be free until much later. In fact, freedom came there June 19th, 1865. Now I'm going to pause here because this is too important to skip over. June 19th, 1865. Wait a minute. The document was signed in 1863. So what happened for 2 years? People remained enslaved. That's what happened. Huh? That's what happened. Folks remained enslaved. Some 2,000 troops, Union troops, arrived in a place called Galveston Bay, Texas, outside of Houston. The Army announced that the more than 250,000 enslaved Black people in the state of Texas were free by executive decree. The day was first known not as Juneteenth. That day, June 19th, 1865, was first called Jubilee Day. That's right. It was first called Jubilee Day, the day of rejoicing. And then later it became known as Juneteenth. In 1979, Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth a national holiday. Right? 1979. I'm giving you some facts and some information here along the way. All right. Now, the question, though, becomes, and this is extremely important, what did people do, especially in Texas, when they first learned? Were they angry? Were they frustrated? Did they lead a rebellion against the Texas government, against America, for having held them enslaved 2 years longer than everyone else? That is not what enslaved folks did, what once enslaved people did in Texas. That's not what they did. You know what Black folks did in Texas, y'all? You know what Black people did? And I didn't know this until I went to grad school and studied this. The first thing Black people did in Texas when they learned on June 19th that they were in fact physically free, they left Texas and started searching for family members sold away during the 200 years of slavery. Y'all listen to me real good now. This is what Juneteenth is about. Juneteenth is about healing fractured and separated Black families, right? This is extremely, extremely, extremely important. Black people did you hear me say walked? Walked all over this land trying to find children, grandchildren, mothers, fathers, aunties, uncles, cousins who were sold away from them during those horrible years called slavery. That's the first thing we did. That's the real power of Juneteenth. There's a book called Help Me Find My People. I'm going to say it again so somebody can write that down. It's called Help Me Find My People by Heather Williams. Help Me Find My People by Heather Williams. And in this book, what Heather Williams does, thank you for posting that. And listen, by the way, if any of you have questions, absolutely put them in the chat. There's somebody here who's gathering up questions, and I'm going to answer all kinds of questions here in just a minute. Help Me Find My People talks about how once enslaved people, the second freedom came, listen, y'all, they walked. I mean, walked from Texas to Louisiana, from Louisiana to Arkansas, from Arkansas to Mississippi, from Mississippi to Georgia, from Georgia to South Carolina to North Carolina. I said walked, trying to find family members and to put Black families back together again. That's right. That's the first thing Black people did. In this book, right, by Heather Ann Williams, some of the testimonies would bring tears to your eyes. People spent their last dime putting ads in newspapers, putting ads in magazines, trying to get folks on radio waves to please announce, right, that I'm looking for my son. I'm gonna give you two examples, right, to really show you. In one of these instances, a person took out an ad. A woman took out an ad, and this is what her ad says. She says, I am looking for my son, Alan Jones. He left me before the war in Mississippi. He wrote me a letter in 1853 in which he said that he was sold to the highest bidder, a gentleman in Charleston, South Carolina. I need to get there now. If anyone has heard of my son, his name is Alan Jones. Please notify this paper. Information may be sent to Reverend J.W. Turner, pastor of the AME Church. Another one says, Evans Green desires to find his mother, Miss Phyllis Green, whom he left in Virginia some years ago. She belonged to old Squire Cook of Winchester, whose son was an attorney at law. Oh my God, on and on. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of newspapers advertisements that are begging people, if you've heard anything of my child was 5 when I last saw her. She would be 45 now. I would know her because there's a mark on her left head. Oh, y'all, it's just the most it's the most fantastic stories. Just the most incredible stories about the ways in which Black folks were trying to make something whole again that had been fractured for hundreds of years. Now, what most people also don't know, some of you will find this interesting, this evolves into what became known as the African American Family Reunion. Ha ha! How many of you knew that? How many of you say, I didn't know that? This is why typically whites don't have family reunions, but Black people do. Because the point of the family reunion is that we were trying to find fractures and arms of the family that had been separated, and we were trying to put them back together again. Many Black people took names of plantations so that whenever folks were sold away, they could find them again. So we might be the Johnsons, not because we're the Johnsons, we came from Africa, so we're definitely not the Johnsons, but we took on the name Johnson because we were all on the Johnson plantation. And if any of us were ever sold away, we could get back to the Johnson plantation and find one another again. This is so powerful and so important. So the Black family reunion, the aim of the Black family reunion, I appreciate y'all in the chat. I see you. Thanks, folks. And the aim of the Black family reunion was to also teach the children. This is going to take me out. Y'all forgive me. This thing just blesses me. To teach Black children that you have relatives and you have bloodlines that you've never seen and you never heard about. We're going to gather from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and we're going to meet those bloodlines. Those bloodlines belong to you. Those bloodlines are part of your inheritance. Those bloodlines are part of your legacy of what it means to be Black in this country and in this nation. And really, the point of family reunions is for you to never, ever forget that you didn't come from brokenness. No, you came from people who were too strong to defeat. You came from people who could never, ever, ever be destroyed. That's who you are. That's what you came from. And the point of Juneteenth is for us to get together as an entire nation and to realize and to know this, the children of slaves and the children of slaveholders. That's right. To get together and say that was madness. Racism is madness. Racism is insanity. And racism is wrong, and we're not going to do it anymore. That's really the point of Juneteenth. Y'all feel what I'm saying to you? Y'all know I get wrapped up, so you have to forgive me. Y'all have to forgive me. It's just who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's just who I am. It's just who I am. But it's too important not to talk about, right? It's really, really, really too important to step over very, very lightly. This is a serious part of who we are and what we do. Juneteenth celebrations were not about barbecues. It was not about chilling. It was not about time off work. No. Juneteenth celebrations was about us absolutely sacrificing what it meant to reassemble the power of Black people and Black families all over this country, all over this nation. So very, very, very important. Now, initially, Juneteenth was called several different things. It was not at first called Juneteenth. I told you one thing, Jubilee Day. Anyone else know something else that Juneteenth was called at first? What was Juneteenth first called? Yes, Jubilee Day. Absolutely. Independence Day. It was called Independence Day. That's absolutely right. So it doesn't evolve until the 1960s, really. It doesn't evolve into Juneteenth until the 1960s. Another thing as Wellstar employees that you might find extremely interesting is during the years of Juneteenth when it first happened, when Black people in America were first freed, there were healthcare workers who did some very, very incredible things. There were particularly nurses who during the year 1865, 1866, 1867 started the first Black hospitals in this country. That's right, healthcare workers. Come on, healthcare workers. Absolutely, because Black folks needed healthcare like we needed air. And I'm going to tell you about a few of them. There was a woman by the name of Susie King Taylor. Susie King Taylor. She was the first Black Army nurse in the Civil War. The first Black Army nurse in the Civil War. And when the Civil War ended, she started her own, what became of a Black hospital. And she educated Black women in the art of healthcare. That's right. This is in the 1860s, y'all. A Black woman, Susie King Taylor. This is what I think of as kind of pre-Wellstar, right? There's another woman by the name of Mary Eliza Mahoney. Mary Eliza Mahoney. She cared for the first South Carolina volunteers, an all-Black Army troop, for 4 years during the Civil War. She became the first licensed Black professional nurse in the United States of America. That's right. She's considered the mother of Black nurses and Black nursing. Also, some of you may know, you may not know, that the great Harriet Tubman was a nurse. Who said, oh my God, I didn't know that. Harriet Tubman was absolutely a nurse. Harriet Tubman had in fact studied not so much medicine, but she studied the art of healing. She knew the herbs of the forest. She knew the leaves of the trees. She knew the roots. She knew what these things would heal. And she worked as a nurse. She absolutely did. She worked as a nurse in the Union Army. These are all healthcare professionals. I'm so glad y'all didn't know this. Good, 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 good. Yes, very important to understand. Harriet Tubman played her role in birthing a healthcare system, right? This is extremely important. There's a woman by the name of Estelle Osborne. Estelle Osborne, a leader in the fight against racial prejudice. She was a black nurse, right? She earned a master's degree in nursing education in the 1930s. She was an old woman by then in the 1930s. Sojourner Truth, some of you know that name, but you might not have known that Sojourner Truth started a nursing program in America. That's right, a nursing program. Now the question becomes, all these nurses, why in the world didn't some of them become doctors? Most of you know this answer. One, because they weren't taking black people. Two, because they weren't taking women. But these women saved lives by the hundreds of thousands. There's a woman named Ada Bell Thomas. Ada Bell Thomas. She founded a organization called the National Association of Colored Nurses. That's right. Some of you may never have even heard of that. National Association of Colored Nurses. And she fought for equality for nurses of all races all over the nation. Y'all, black women especially, some black men too, because there were black male doctors at this time, few, but many, many, many black women are doing healing work like you cannot believe. Many of them are learning from one another. Many of these folks are midwives. They are doulas. That's right. They are nursing babies. They're delivering babies. They're healing women. They're helping women to understand things like there are natural herbs for all kinds of things. They're doing things like setting broken arms. That's right. They're opening clinics in their homes. These women are doing the work. And this is 1865. Y'all understand what I'm saying to you? This is not 1965. This is 1865, 1866. And this is Juneteenth. So when we get together for Juneteenth, this is what we're celebrating. We're celebrating the fact that some of these black women said, listen, come to my house and I'm going to heal you. Ooh. There's a famous story of a woman in Arkansas, that's where I'm from, who was burned as a child. That's right. She had like third-degree burns all over her body. Folks did not think she was going to make it. Her dress caught fire from a wood stove, and the child was burned very badly. Well, there was a healer, a nurse, if you will, named Miss Liza. They took her to Miss Liza. This is a true story. They took her to Miss Liza. Miss Liza told everybody to get out. She had medicine, she had herbs, she had roots in the house. According to the story, Miss Liza worked her magic all night long on this child, putting ointments all over her body made of concoctions she put together. This is really a true story. And that little girl the next day woke up, and according to the story, in 3 days, her skin had been totally and completely restored. I know the woman. I know the woman. That, according to the story, she was healed and restored, and she never went to a hospital. But she did see a black nurse. Ha, 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 ha. Come on, Wellstar. Come on, Wellstar. Come on, Wellstar. This is why healing traditions are important. This is why. And this is what Juneteenth really, truly is all about. You cannot have Juneteenth and leave out the work of folks who were trying to set up institutions in order to assure the continuation and the future and the success of Black life in America. Black nurses were some of those people. I see the chat lighting up. I love it. 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 Now, something else you might know. During the Juneteenth years, this is 1865, 1866, etc., while we're having Juneteenth celebrations, do you know where some of the first Juneteenth celebrations occur? And do you know why they occur there? Some of the very first Juneteenth celebrations, you all, and this is unbelievably important. Some of the first Juneteenth celebrations happen on the campus of what's called historically Black colleges and universities. Almost all Black colleges are founded during Juneteenth years. That's right. That's right. The day we're free from slavery. In Texas, Alabama, Arkansas, the day we are freed from slavery, we start building schools. Why? Because what Black people believe then and what Black people believe now is only knowledge is going to save us in America. Only knowledge is going, because if you can't read and if you can't write, if you cannot analyze, if you can't think your way past domination and oppression, if you can't outthink those who despise you, your destruction is nigh. I'm talking to somebody on this platform today. And Juneteenth is about the celebration of the birth of Black colleges in this country. Now, the question becomes, how many Black colleges are there? Does anybody know? How many Black colleges are there in America? Don't Google, don't cheat. Somebody put in the chat, how many Black colleges are there in America? Somebody says 210, somebody says 188. Okay, those are good guesses. 127, those are good guesses. Somebody says, I don't know. I appreciate that honesty also. Somebody says 56, good. How many of you would say, I have never been on the campus of an HBCU in my life? Put in the chat. Don't be afraid, there's no judgment here. All we're doing is learning and having fun. That's all we're doing. Somebody put in the chat, I have never been on a Black college campus in my, very good, I appreciate that. Thanks, y'all. Never. Somebody says, I've never. Good, I appreciate that. Good, very good, yes, I appreciate that. How many of you say, I am a Black college graduate? Any Black college graduates out there? Any Black college graduates out there? Yes. Oh, I see you. Absolutely. You got to rep your school. Listen, come on, Morgan State. You got to rep your school. If you go to Black college, you must rep your school. Morris Brown. Yes. CAU. Bennett. Absolutely. Tennessee State. Spelman. Alabama A&M. ITC. Come on, y'all. Virginia State. Yes. I see you. Miles College. Absolutely. Texas Southern. Absolutely. TSU. Absolutely. And y'all, what was the point of Black colleges? Why were Black colleges found? In some instances, Black colleges were found first in order to create an elite class of Black people who would function as servants. It's true. We're going to tell the truth today. That's what it was for initially in many instances. Because early majors at Black colleges were things like home economics. That's right. Carpentry, absolutely. Brick masonry, that's right. That's what you learned if you were Black and you went to a Black school. You learned what's called a skill or what they called a trade. And why did you learn that? Because those things were things that would service a young nation. A young nation needed to build. It needed to create. White folks wanted to be maintained, and they would pay Black servants to do it. Listen, serving in a household paid far more than picking cotton in the field. I understand. I get it. You get it too. Absolutely. And Black colleges sprung up all over the country, in every state in the Union, practically. Not everyone, but practically every state in the Union had what's called HBCUs. And they happened the same, many of them were birthed the same year Juneteenth started. That's why you cannot talk about Juneteenth without talking about the founding of historically Black colleges and universities. It goes together. You must do that. And initially, there were more than 200 Black colleges. That's right. More than 200 Black colleges. Currently today, there are around 100 left. That's right. Many of them have closed. Many of them they could not get financial backing, etc., and so they have closed. But there are great Black colleges that are still functioning. I teach at one of them called Clark Atlanta University. I don't feel bad about repping my school. I'm a graduate of Clark Atlanta University, and I'm a sitting faculty member, right? That's an awesome school, but there are others just as great. Now, we're going to have a little fun for a minute. I'm going to name the state in the Union. Don't lie. Don't listen, y'all. Don't cheat. Don't Google. I'm going to name the state in the union, and you in the chat tell me the black college or colleges in that state, right? I'm gonna see if you can do it. Here we go. Arkansas. Come on. Arkansas. I'm ready. Don't Google. Do not Google. Don't look it up. I want to see what you know. UAPB. That's a very good one. University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff. That's good. Very good. That's a good one. Philander Smith College. Come on, Benita. Absolutely. Shorter. Come on. Absolutely. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Here go next. Mississippi. Mississippi. Give me black colleges in Mississippi. Alcorn, Tougaloo. Y'all walking good. Jackson State. Come on. You're talking good. Very good. Good. Rust College. That's right. Don't leave out Rust. Northern Mississippi. That's right. Alcorn. Absolutely. Stillman. Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on, y'all. Awesome. 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 We're going to move over a little bit. Alabama. Give me black colleges in Alabama. Don't Google. Don't Google. Black colleges in Alabama. Alabama State. Absolutely. Miles. Absolutely. Tuskegee. You got to say Tuskegee. You must say Tuskegee. Alabama A&M. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good. Very good. Georgia. Give me black colleges in Georgia. I'm listening. Black colleges. Spelman. Payne. Clark. Come on. Come on. Morris Brown. Come on. Come on. Morehouse. Absolutely. Morris Brown, absolutely. Savannah State, Interdenominational Theological Center. Fort Valley State, absolutely. 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 Good, good, y'all. Excellent. 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 Okay. Good, good, good. Tennessee, black colleges in Tennessee. Come on. Come on. I'm ready. I'm ready. Where are they? Fisk, good. Good. Tennessee State. Marvelous. Lane. Most people don't ever speak about Lane. Very good. Lane has a proud history. Very good. We're all learning here today. That's awesome, y'all. Meharry. Meharry. You better know about Meharry College. Meharry is the first medical school, black medical school in the country. Yes, 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 yes. Fantastic, fantastic. South Carolina. Here we go. South Carolina. Give it to me. Black colleges in South Carolina. South Carolina State, come on. Claflin, you must say Claflin. You must say Claflin. Come on. Benedict, okay. Allen, you must say Allen. Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, you know whose grandfather was one of the founding members of Allen University? Anybody know? Oh, somebody's going to know. Who is it? Who is it? There's a great comedian who's Dave Chappelle. That is correct. Dave Chappelle's grandfather was one of the bishops of Allen University. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. That is absolutely right. Let's go a little further. North Carolina. Give me black colleges in North Carolina. A&T. Come on, somebody. Johnson C. Smith. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. Shaw. You've got to say Shaw. You must say Shaw. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Johnson C. Smith Central, absolutely. And what I'm showing you really here is black colleges, especially in southern states, right? Black colleges made their way all across the southern state, but there were some in the north too. Oh, there are a few black colleges in Pennsylvania. Somebody tell me some names. Elizabeth City State, that's right, that's North Carolina. Give me what black schools were in Pennsylvania. Cheney, that's right. Lincoln, that's right. In fact, Cheney's the oldest. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. This is what Juneteenth is. Lincoln University, that's right. Listen, if you're going to celebrate Juneteenth, you must talk about black colleges, because the point of these black colleges eventually became, can we in fact educate a populace of people who were brought here as servants and as slaves? Can they become what folks called educable? Could they become educable? And in becoming educable, can they become legitimate citizens of this nation? This is one of the critical questions during the initial Juneteenth years, right? Unbelievably important. Unbelievably important. So when we're studying Juneteenth, y'all, right? When we're studying Juneteenth, what we're really studying, what we're really studying is, what does it mean to love freedom? What does it mean to love freedom? And what price will you pay for it? If you're Black, if you're white, if you're Native American, because also, by the way, did you know that there are Native American colleges just like there are HBCUs? How many of you did not know there are Native American colleges where 99% of every student on campus is a Native American? Put in the chat if you say, oh my God, Dr. Black, I didn't know that. Oh, many of you, that's good. That's good. Yeah, baby, we learning today. That's right. That's right. There are Native American colleges just like there are HBCUs doing amazing work. Amazing work. Most of them are in Central America. Most of them are in places like North Dakota, New Mexico, Arizona, places right in ancestral land, right, of Native Americans. Listen, it will blow your mind if you learn some of the magic and magnificence of some of these Native American colleges. Blackfoot Hills College. I mean, just unbelievable places where unbelievable learning is happening. And in many of those instances, in many of those colleges, they are preserving Native American languages that for whom there are no speakers anymore, but they're trying to capture and trying to keep the language alive as part of the inheritance of this land. Unbelievable work. Unbelievable work. And that's really what we're trying to do with Juneteenth. We're trying to make it a day of freedom for every soul in America who loves freedom and who knows the worth and the power of freedom. And the truth of the matter is that is every single one of you. And as I begin to kind of come around the corner to close this out, what I really want to say to those of you who work at Wellstar, every single patient you see makes me think of Harriet Tubman. It makes me think of Sojourner Truth. Every single patient you see, you often have the ability and you often have the opportunity to change how they understand themselves and how they see the world. You are the healers. You are the healers. You're the healers. If you're a nurse practitioner, if you're a nurse, if you're a nursing assistant, if you're a receptionist in the hospital, it doesn't matter. You're at the healing station. And the point of the healing station is to transform lives. It's to transform lives. It's not just to make people feel better. It's to make people understand that their life is worth living. And that's what so many of you do. That's really how we got through the pandemic. One day people are going to understand that we really survived the pandemic because of the healers. That's you all. Y'all were on the front lines. I bow before you and I thank you. I thank you for this. In the tradition of Black people who struggled hard, I thank you for saving this country and this world. And in this Juneteenth hour, in this Juneteenth moment, in this second where we're celebrating, I'm asking you to do more of it. Every time God sends you a soul, lift them up. Every time God sends you a spirit, lay your hands on them and speak life. It doesn't matter if they believe it or not. If you believe it, it'll work. That's right. Because you are the magician, if you will, with the body. That's what you are. That's really why you're in this job. It may be long hours, y'all. I get it. But it makes all the difference in the world. Juneteenth celebrations are going to happen all over this country. Some folks are going to be drinking. Some folks are going to take it simply again as just a day off. But what I'm hoping more than anything, what I'm praying for, what I'm begging for more than anything is that after hearing me, you all will understand that it's more complicated than what it seems at first, that it's more meaningful than what most folks understand, that this is about us literally saying, hey, I believe in freedom and I believe in mine. I believe in yours. I believe in everybody's. Let's fight together to make this happen. Let's make the world we want, not wait for it. That's what Black people did when we left the plantation. We left the plantation and we set out to make a world, to reconstitute our families and to say we're worth air to breathe too. And every human soul is worth that same air to breathe. And so are you. I'm going to pause here because I think there might be a few questions and we're going to run out of time, I think. I had a couple more topics, but I'm going to just pause. I think that was enough. And I'm going to see if we can get to a couple of questions. Y'all are so awesome. Thank y'all for hearing me.
Dr. Black. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. all of this today, very insightful. We appreciate the understanding of the history, the struggles, the triumph, the legacy of our people. I'll say African Americans, but of my people.
That's right.
Now, you guys, the chat has been going crazy the whole time. I invite you now to engage with Dr. Black directly. You can use the chat feature. You can use the Q&A segment. Don't hesitate to ask your questions, share your thoughts on anything that we've discussed so far, and we'll try to answer as many of those as we can.
And so many people are saying thank you. Listen, if I can just say everybody, thank y'all for listening, and thank you for being open. I don't even see your faces, but I feel your spirit and I feel your energy. And I thank you. I thank you. Y'all, the power we have is the power we claim. And it's the power we insist upon. So thank you all so much for having me. And might this day be more glorious than any day you have ever lived before. I appreciate y'all.
Dr. Black, one that did, they're scrolling so fast, but one stood out. They want to know how to get in touch with you. So maybe any of your social media platforms or anything you want to share and your book lists.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to dangerously put my email address on. I just put it in. It's scrolling fast though, but it's in there. My email address is there. And if anyone wants to reach me, wants to talk to me or ask me to come and do something, etc., just email me. Let me say it out loud. My email is babaomo, 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 one word, at AOL.com. BABAOMO at AOL.com. And that's the best way to get in touch with me. I'm checking my email all day long. Yeah, it's coming so fast, I can't read them. Awesome.
I love hearing you on Sirius Radio Urban View. Let's see if I can catch any more.
I appreciate that. Yeah, fantastic. Anyone else a question? Let's see. Thank you, Donna. Proud graduate of Clark College. Yes. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Wow, I appreciate that. Everyone seems to have learned so much, so I'm happy about that.
Yes. So we have, how do you see the significance of Juneteenth evolving, particularly in the context of ongoing conversations about racial justice and equality?
Great question. And I have an answer to that because I've been thinking about this. I'm really hoping in the years to come that we do a very dangerous but a very wonderful and transformative thing with Juneteenth. And that is, I really wish on Juneteenth we were almost forced to coexist with each other in racial difference. I wish Juneteenth was a day where, hey, Black neighbors, invite your white neighbors over. Or white neighbors, invite your Black neighbors over for a barbecue, right? No, we're encouraging no one to have a barbecue only with the people you know. Do it with somebody different. Do it with someone you don't know. Do it with someone who doesn't look like you. I feel like that would do a transformative work, because the real problem, I think, in this country with race is that we keep lying about it. We won't admit the truth about it. If we'll admit the truth about it, we can heal from it. Everybody falls short. We all have ugly stuff in our history, everybody. But you got to tell the truth about it. You got to say it first. And why is that important? So that you get the humility to understand that you're not God. All of us look like God, but we are not God. No, none of us is, but we're all divine, right? All of us is divine. Every single one of us is divine. All of us are divine. And it's very important that we really take the time and be intentional, right, about spending time with each other in difference. That's what I wish we could do.
Let's see.
Someone says, I struggle being proud.
Their last name. Okay, you saw that one. Go ahead.
I feel I should get over this outside of change. I want to tell you two things. Change it. And listen to me very carefully. The reason I'm saying change it is because someone gave it to you and it wasn't God. Listen, change it. Change it. Change it. I'm going to keep saying that. Change it. Somebody gave it to you in the first place. Someone gave it to you. Somebody constructed a name for you. I kept mine, my last name is Black, because of the irony. That's why I kept mine. But otherwise, I absolutely would have changed it. I absolutely would have changed it. And my first name is Omotosho. My mother named me Daniel, right? But I understand that my mother had limitations. I understand my mother never got a chance to study African American studies. I get it. So my mother was blinded too in her love for me still. Right. So I have an ancestral name and I have a legal name. My legal name is Daniel because that was the extent of my mother's consciousness. But my ancestral name, my spiritual name is Omotosho. That's the name that my people recognize. And it's extremely important. A name is not just kind of nice. It's critical to your self-worth, to your value, to your understanding of who you are, right? To the daily construction of your pride. So, hey, brother, sister, change it.
Perfect. Can you share with us some lesser known aspects or stories about Juneteenth that you believe are important for people to understand?
I'll share with you one that I think is really, really important. There was a woman in her 70s in 1865 who was in Texas, and when she heard that slavery ended, she began to walk and she was looking for two children who had been sold away. And this is one of the rare, rare times where she actually found them. But they were babies when they were sold away, and she hadn't seen them in 50, 60 years. What's so beautiful is she walked up, they say she walked up on a piece of land. I don't know if it's ex plantation or whatever. And she had heard that her child might have been sold into, I think it was Tennessee maybe. And she walked up on the land and she asked the woman, had she heard of a woman named, I forgot what her name was, and the woman said, "In fact, I have. In fact, she's over there. I think she was hanging clothes on a line or whatever." And the woman walked over, and when the woman turned around, she knew that was her daughter. She said she recognized her after 55 years. And according to the story, they screamed and hollered. It said that the leaves on the trees vibrated. They were screaming and crying so badly. That happened the year of the birthing of Juneteenth. It's stories like that that just bring chills to you for me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what are some ways that we can start the conversation with our children to introduce them to the celebration of Juneteenth?
Two things. Buy books about Juneteenth. Buy books about Juneteenth and give them to your children. But don't just give them to your children. Sit down and read them to your children. Listen to me. Don't tell your children to go read them. No, you read them to your children. Sit the children down and say, listen, turn the phone off. Put it up, put it away. There's something I need to tell you. There's something I need for you to hear and I need for you to know. And as an adult, as a parent, take the time to tell the children this story. It must be told. And don't soften it, y'all. Do not soften it. Do not soften it. And if you're black or white, doesn't make any difference. It's the same thing. If you're white, sit your white children down and tell them, I need to tell you the story of what happened June 19th, 1865. You're an American and you must know the story. Whichever side of the story you own, you have to know this story because this story is really the spine, if you will, it's the backbone of who we are as a people and as a nation. So that's what I think we must do. We must tell the children the story. Don't send them to read it. Tell it to them.
And so before we close, since we're talking about books, if you could maybe end with just a few more books that you recommend, children's books or things that we could give to them concerning Juneteenth.
There's a book called There is a River. There is a river that I think would really, 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 really do some folks really well, right? There's another book titled, oh, what's the title? I'm trying to look for it. Titled When and Where I Enter. That I think would do you really, really well. There is a novel called Juneteenth by Ralph Ellison, is it? Right? That I think might help get you going. Also, there's a new book by Jasmine Ward that's not about Juneteenth specifically, but it's set in the same years, the same era, called "Let Us Descend." Let Us Descend. That I think y'all would just absolutely positively love. It's so beautifully, beautifully done. There's a book by Colson Whitehead titled "The Underground Railroad." That's really, really, really powerful. So those would be enough to get us going, I think.
Okay, sounds good. I thought I knew a lot about, what was I wrong? Oh, thank you, Tara. I think we all learned something today.
I'm happy about
We did. So, to close out, Dr. Black, I just want to extend from myself, from the DEI committee, from everyone in the chat, everyone who's attending, our sincerest gratitude today, just for sharing all of your knowledge, everything that you've given us today surrounding Juneteenth. Your insights have been invaluable, and we appreciate your time. I also want to thank each of our team members for your participation. You were so active in the chat, so excited, so it kept us going. All of your engagement is greatly appreciated. So as we close today, let's reflect on the powerful stories and the insights shared by Dr. Black, reminding us just of the resilience, the richness of the African-American experience. Let's carry forward this momentum by committing to action in our own spheres of influence. As a next step, I invite you to explore opportunities for allyship, for advocacy, whether it's through Brave or engaging in diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. I am the chair, so if you want to join, call me, right? We can learn so much. We host these events. We do so much. And so your ideas, your thoughts are always welcome. We're happy to have you. So keep the dialogue going. Also, there was a QR code, so we invite you to complete this short survey. Your feedback is going to be so critical for us to continue with future events like this one. So take a minute to do that for us as well. Your employee number is there. So if you just email me, we'll make sure that we get that to the right person for you. Thank you guys again so very much to everyone who joined the call today. And I hope you all have a great day and enjoy the rest of your weekend.